Fellow Ambazonians, I consider every moment in this struggle as a fresh moment. Have you seen a river? Every time you look into the river, you are seeing a new river because the river keeps flowing. So when things happen, I always try to look at them with a fresh look so that my mind and judgment is not be clouded by the past or by the sentiments of yesterday. Number one, if you are in a position where you can have a conversation with me on issues concerning this government and you don't do that, you may have just lost a golden opportunity for us to have a deep reflection, to share my own perspective with you and probably make you to see certain things you did not see, understand certain things you did not see, you don't understand. To be good does not mean you are right. Sometimes your intentions can be good, but you are wrong. That does not make you a bad person. Anybody who, instead of having a conversation with me, because you know that my heart is in the right place, at least you know that. If you are around me, you know my heart. So having a conversation with me is not a difficult thing to do on any issue, just so that you don't go out with a partial perspective and make the wrong judgment that can be misconstrued by people, that can make people look at the issue differently or you differently. Now you decide to call me out instead of calling me in. Now if you called me in, we'll have a conversation, I can tell you even more. But if you call me out, the unfortunate thing is that everybody has heard you, so there's no need for me to answer you by calling you in to tell you the answer. I have to answer where you ask the question. If you ask me a question at home, I'll answer you at home. If you ask me a question in the court, I cannot tell the court that I will go and answer at home. I have to answer in the court. You see the mistake? Let me not dwell in that first. Let me go to the point. The Constitution is back in the discussion. For me, it is always a learning curve. Don't listen to me with an X on my forehead. You will not hear anything. Just listen. At this point where we are right now, the Constitution that we have is not the Constitution of a country. Let me repeat. What we have right now is not the Constitution of a country. It is the Constitution of a struggle, because that document is not governing Ambazonia. It's governing the struggle, how we conduct the struggle. Check, that document is governing how we conduct the struggle, because what is its lifespan? Its lifespan is Boya. As soon as we land in Boya, that document becomes obsolete. Why? Because it was not to govern the country, it was to govern the struggle. That's one thing some people don't know. So they mistake the governing of the country with the governing of the struggle. Let me tell you this. Every revolution is a semi-dictatorship. I'm saying this so that all the intellectuals in constitutional law and all the intellectuals in social sciences will tell me if I'm wrong. Just tell me, engage me, tell me. All revolutions, all struggles are semi-dictatorships. But when the struggle succeeds and the government is established over the people, institutions are established, that cannot be a dictatorship. That's why I said a revolution is a temporary state of insanity to bring sanity. I say this not to justify anything. Let me go to the crux of the matter. When I joined Sako Ayuktabe and his government in November 2017, the website I met was the Sako website. The Ambazonia Foundation was just established. Why? Because some people in Massachusetts who were in charge of the Sako website, who had all control, they left Sako Ayuktabe and went away with it till today. Then the Ambazonia Foundation was established. I was already in power. It was our public purpose vehicle. A public purpose vehicle is a vehicle that we use to run government. It is not the government, but it's a vehicle on which the government runs. The government in America, in United States, in anywhere around the world is an idea. You need a vehicle, you need an identity. And because we are not a recognized government, our papers are not valid in the countries that we are. We need to have a vehicle by which we transact our business. So Ambazonia Foundation became our vehicle. We had the first website. Go online and show me. Where is it today? When the Sako, the Ayuktabe did what he did, saying that he has dismissed us, the people who were there, they went away with the Ambazonia Foundation. They went away with Ambazonia, is it Ambagov? Ambagov.com. They went away with it. I don't want to call their names. They went away. They just left and went away with it. Then after that, we established new platforms known as Ambagov.org. I don't want to be calling those names, so I don't publicize them. People start going there, if at all they are still there. When the coup plotters came up and decided to break away from us, what happened? They went away with it. Anytime these people go away with what we call our intellectual property, they go away with our website, our vehicle that carries the government along. Do you know what happens? We start from zero. Zero means zero. We are lost in the wilderness. They go away with everything. Every time I've mentioned, from Sako to Foundation, to the first Ambazonia Foundation, to the second Ambazonia Foundation, different websites it. They went away with everything, including all the subscriptions, all the payment platforms, all the money in it, and we start from zero, from square one. I've led you people from, I've seen many square ones, back to square one, back to square one, back to square one. That's what we have seen. When the recent move by these coup plotters, what happened? They went away with Ambassador Foundation. We had already added the second one, Southern Cameroon Foundation. They went with it. They went with the website, with everything that was in there. So we started afresh by building a new website, a new structure called Amba Humanitarian and Aid. They also went with the Aid platform. People were coming to ask me, Mr. President, how do we do? What do we do? When you are the president, who are you in a struggle like this? Go and read the Constitution. You are called the custodial of the struggle. Okay, who is a custodian? Who is a custodian? The caretaker of the revolution. Who is a caretaker? Let me ask you something. If I had the master login of Sako Foundation, would we have lost everything we had, including the citizenship data and everything? Would we have lost access to it? No. If I had the master login of the first Ambazonian Foundation, which was Amba Gov, and all the platforms, if I had a master access, not ownership, master access, not ownership. Those who want to manipulate will change access to ownership. Access is a key. I'm in the United States. If the organization is registered in the United States, if I have access and I don't have the ownership, if something goes wrong, can that organization not sue me? If I had that access, would we have lost everything and paid another how many $1,000 every time to establish a new platform and migrate data? How can you even migrate data when you have lost all the data? You start from afresh. We would have not lost the CID platform. We would have not lost the Southern Cameroon Foundation platform. We would have not lost Ambazonian Foundation platform and all the payment portals in those platforms. Everyone that leaves the government lives with something. Everyone. Because for them, establishing it and having the access means ownership. Is that the chaos Ambazonians want? Is that the chaos Ambazonian wants during this phase of the revolution? I know when we have gone through a wave, you forget it because some of us were managing it in real time. I have managed wave upon wave. So I think for some people who care about this revolution, it already got to the top. When we gathered in Washington in ASS2, the intention was to protect the revolution, not just as an idea, but to make sure that we protect the institutions, the vehicles, and the vehicles that run the government. You cannot separate the idea from the vehicle. There's no idea of government, there'll be no vehicle, it will be useless. If there's no vehicle, the government does not really run anywhere without a vehicle. That meeting was to ensure, to protect that theme. After the tsunami, that was the reason why Washington was held. So, and the resolutions of any constituent assembly are not a constitution. They don't become automatically as resolved the constitution. They are legitimate recommendations. They are constitutional recommendations. So, because one, they don't come in the language of constitutional balance. They are not technical in their presentation. They don't cover the scope, but they give the direction so that the drafters, who are technicians, they will take those resolutions and then put them in the language, put them in the form that will reflect the will and the intent of those who make the resolutions. They intended to protect the revolution. They intended to protect the struggle from anyone coming to take away everything that we have and go scot-free. So we decided to change the name. It was part of the protection. We decided to resolve on the issue of succession. That was some of the issues that they were looking into. The drafters saw that if we protect the idea of government by claiming we are the legitimate, and we don't protect the vehicles, it will still happen again. It will happen again. So the drafters drafted that document with that intention of the people to protect. And what they chose is that I will have the master access, not the only access. I will have the master access. Master access is what? Let me tell you something which some people are trying to misconstrue in order to paint something black. Master access is the one access that you cannot eject from the platform, but he can withdraw your access. You cannot withdraw his access. You cannot make changes on the platform without his knowledge, without the knowledge of the master access. If you needed to make any changes, the one with the master access will see what you are doing, will know what you are doing. So that was included by the drafters, by the lawyers who looked into it and said, we are talking about protecting the institutions and we are talking about the name name, interim, this one, interim. No, the vehicle needs to be protected. And they put it there that I will be giving master access. It's just like the nuclear code. If there's any nuclear code we have, something that can make or mark this revolution today, anything you can, is there anything in our government you can compare to a nuclear code? Let's call it the master access to our public purpose vehicles. Who gets the nuclear code? Who has the nuclear code? In America, in Russia, in Israel. Who has the nuclear codes? It's not the president. Why don't you say, what if the president just goes off one day? He can just blow up the country. Is that the kind of democracy we want? Is that the kind of world we want? No, being a custodian of the government or the institution means that if everything goes wrong, is the custodian they will ask. If everybody doesn't know what to do and how to get it back, they will call the custodian. Do you know how many times I've been called to say, they have done this again, they have taken this one, what do we do? And I said, I don't know. If I had the answer, we will not be going back and forth. Every time they take it away, we start afresh. Every time they take it away, we start afresh. I mean, not in Boya, in this phase of the struggle, should this be the order? Is this the democracy we want? That people establish websites for this government, they can have the master access. Whatever you are denying that the president cannot have, an individual has it, who is not even known by the people, who he is not elected by the people, is not looked upon by the people of Amazonia. He will not be expected to answer to anybody. Do you know the people who have gone with our other platforms? Do you know them? Go and ask at random. Do you know who had the master access that decided to switch and take it away from us? Do you know them? Everybody knew me and everybody asked me, what can we do? Just for us to try to get the access back. Do you know how much money it costed us to go to court? And they still use manipulation of a certain internal rule and regulation to claim that they were the legitimate people to take those decisions. What protection do you have within your democratic proposal for us to adopt at this time to make sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen again? What proposal do you have in the constitution? Is it just to protect a named government? That is the core of the struggle. What proposal do you have to make sure that that does not happen? So the law was amended like this, that every platform, instead of an unknown individual with no name, some people who just vanish, the moment you try their phone, you don't get them, you are lost, you don't even know their addresses, for them to have the master access, who can just, when they are annoyed one morning, they can just kick out everybody and own the platform, and they will start afresh. They go away with all our money, go away with all our platforms, go away with everything we have, then we start from zero. Let the president have the master access, yet the rest of the people can continue to have access to do the business of the house. Let the master key be with the president. How is that King Jong-un? How is that the dictatorship? Tell me something that's better. Tell me something that is better. Let me hear. And because of this silent opposition that is going on, now I am forced to tell Ambazonians, I have been refused access to those platforms, to many platforms. I don't have the access as was intended by the ASSC to ensure that there's a layer of protection whereby if something happens and somebody goes crazy and decides to run away with our institutions, I will be able to say, don't worry, we can get it back. I don't have it. I have not been given access. So I don't know what the access they're talking about. Is it because of this? Now I understand that. Okay, is it because of this opposition that I don't have the access? I don't have it. So, fellow Amazonians, my hands are clean. I don't have access to any. The good intentions of the House of Assembly and the intent of the ASSC to add a layer to ensure a layer of protection by making the president have master access, not the only access, has not been implemented. So we are running now again as before on the hope that none of the people who have all the access and all the master accesses to the platforms will change. But I've seen 4 generations of people who took access to everything, who had access to everything that we had, and they changed. They changed. So let us run this government on the hope that nobody else will change until we get to Boya. Because if anybody tries to change who has the access, the president once again will be paralyzed before Ambazonians. I have no answers for you. We'll have to start afresh. Yes, so that I am not considered a King Jong-un or Paul Biya. Listen, this government is run on about from all the platforms that we have, which I don't have the access. I was not even the creator. Let anyone in this government tell me that there's any payment platform where I have the key. I mean the payment platforms that I have access. One, or there's any website that they have handed me the access, unless it is our state house. I mean www.statehouse.gov. statehouseboya.gov. That's the only one I have access. You know why? Because I created it. And I'm saying this for the record. If I'm not here, you are going to get the credentials to go into that website. If I live here because I don't want to belong here now, ask me. I will not take anything away from Ambazonians. The other ones are promising to give me the access. Some have questioned me squarely why I think I'm the only one who is trusted by Ambazonians. Okay, Ambazonian, for your information, a lot of people are trusted, but they are not. It's not known that they have the master key. Let them just come out and tell Ambazonians that they have the master keys to our public, our government vehicles. I will cease from being a Kim Jong-un and I will allow you people to continue. That was the intention. If I had this conversation in the hidden house, probably I would have said it differently. But because the thing is in the marketplace, I just wanted to put it as clearly as it is. So share this message.